I've gotten a lot of digging done, and the one thing that's been persistent out here is this wind. What's going on, everyone? I'm Brandon, and this is the 90-Day EarthBag Challenge. And if you're unaware, this is the approach that I'm gonna be taking is one dome at a time, because obviously most people have seen from the previous videos how much digging has been done, how much material I've excavated out, and just the amount of labor and time that's kind of gone into this altogether. But overall, I think I'm making pretty good time, especially just on the first dome. So this gives people hopefully a better idea on just a single dome if that's all you wanted to start with. Because the really cool aspect about these dome structures is that we can essentially just keep adding more and more structures. And then if we end up taking kind of the Earthship concept approach, that's where we can incorporate a greenhouse that actually ties all of these domes together and then makes each of these domes separate little rooms. So that way we could have like a kitchen dome, we could have a living room dome, a bedroom dome, and then we have this greenhouse that is able to connect as like a hallway for all of these domes. But then at the same time, we'll be able to have plants growing and have a gray water treatment system. And there's a whole lot more that we can expand on just from this simple concept. But that's a future outlook because we don't necessarily know if our client is gonna wanna do more than these two domes in the future or add on more kind of features to these domes. For right now, we're just at kind of the basics of things, getting a structure that has an area for storage and food storage and stuff like that. And then just being able to have a spot to hang out when they do come visit the property. All right, but back to the dome here. So I've got all of this dug out, but it's been a couple weeks worth of digging, and quite frankly, we've still got plenty more digging to do, but I'm actually getting to this point for this first dome. So I've hit this rock layer, so I'm not able to dig any further down, but we've actually gotten a pretty good ways. So the next step of things is we're gonna be starting to dig out this hallway. And it's important that I dig out this hallway because this gap that you see in the bags, we actually need to fit in a frame or a door buck frame basically. And it's kind of undecided if there will be a door. So this will at least start the framing for the hallway. And then that way we can actually start stacking our sandbags and stuff. And so digging out the hallway is going to allow me to start on the door buck for this first dome. And that'll be pretty simple because I've already got the wood back at our place. So what we'll need to do here is actually dig down a little bit further just so that we can lay our rebar spikes, kind of our rebar cage, and then pour our concrete and then have our porcupine 2x6 so that there's a solid foundation for the door buck. And this will just help with everything else tying into the dome.
From the high desert sun, scorched earth, a whisper then a call to build a place of shelter where the wind blows on the wall. With empty bags and hopeful hearts we set to work as one, a low-cost dream for a client's team beneath the desert sun. The permaculture vision, a blueprint in our mind to make a home that's healthy and a place that's one of a kind. Oh, Growtreeorganics, watch the story unfold of the desert's hard lesson and the treasures it holds. With shovel and pickaxe, we meet the ground's mighty hand to make a home from nothing in this hard and barren land. Hey, 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 hey. The first few weeks, the dirt flew fast. A pit began to grow, but the third week hit with a heavy twist, a stubborn, rocky foe. The caliche came, a layer hard to test our will and might.
All right, now that I got the hallway carved out, this is at least just the rough carving, and the same for the first dome. We're gonna be able to finalize and carve everything out later on, but for now we've got things down to the level we want in the first dome, and that was nice because that enabled me to basically hack out the hallway and keep kind of the same level with the first dome. So now we've carried on and I've hit over towards the second dome over here. So now we'll get the area set up for the door buck, and then we need to get that framing all ready to go. So let's get to it. And we've gone through a lot of steps even to get to this point. We had to do a lot of planning, we had to do a lot of sightseeing, observing. So there's a lot of preparation to begin with, which included observation, finding property lines, and finding the best spot for these two domes. And it was a little bit of a slow beginning, just observing and trying to figure out the right location. But once I was able to find the spot, getting started, now we're past 2 weeks, but we can see all this work and the work continues. All right, we made it to the build site, so we're gonna unload this. I've been working in the evening time when it's cooler, but I've also been working early in the morning. Maybe I'll save the concreting for the morning. Otherwise, we'll get everything staged here right now. So I've got to get the porcupine plate concreted into this portion where the door buck is going to sit. But you can see it's not wide enough, so I actually got to make this opening a little bit wider. So that means we can still make the hallway a little bit wider too. So for right now, I'll get everything staged tonight, and then we'll come back in the morning and we'll get all of this situated and set up. So then that way tomorrow we can get other things prepared on the dome. And I think we're still going to have a little bit of staging that we're still going to do too before we get past the door buck here. All right, it looks like we got ourselves a door frame. And since we got the framing in, we're just getting this sandbag party started.
Growtreeorganics, from the earth and the rain, turning the desert to fertile land again. With every drop saved, a new life takes hold. A story of strength, more precious than gold. We're digging in deep where the water flows free, building a future for you and for me. With Zuni bowls carved in the dusty dry clay, catching the heavens on a blistering day, and waffle gardens laid in a patchwork of hope, giving a chance where there used to be none too cold. With every retrench dug and every stone placed, a blueprint of life that cannot be erased. Oh, Growtreeorganics, from the earth and the rain, turning the desert to fertile land again. With every drop saved, a new life takes hold. A story of strength, more precious than gold. We're digging in deep where the water flows free, building a future for you and for me. Some say it's crazy to garden on rock, to fight the great heat and the relentless clock. But the roots run so deep where the wild waters flow, and this is the secret to making things grow. From the dusty brown canvas, a masterpiece made.